Hello students, today we will discuss a new chapter that is known as heredity and variation, which is included in your unit 2 of biology paper. So let us first discuss what is heredity and what is variation. So heredity and variation. What is heredity? Heredity is nothing but the transmission of characters. So it is transmission of characters from parents to offspring. So transmission of characters. What is the meaning of characters? Character means, suppose skin color, the shape of the face or nose or ear, or your hair. Suppose it may be curly or it may be straight. Like all these are known as characters. Even the behavioral characters also are known as characters. So these characters are transmitted from parents to offsprings. You all are sons or daughters of your parents, and you must have many resemblance with your father or mother. Why this resemblance occurs between you and your parents? Because you inherited those characters from your parents. That's why you resemble your parents. Even if you are having your brothers and sisters, they are also having resemblance with your parents, and you also resemble your brothers and sisters. All these resemblance are due to the characters which you inherited from your parents. That's why resemblance is there. So that the heredity is nothing but the transmission of character from parents to offspring, or you can say from one generation to the next generation. Then what is variation? Variation means the differences. It is the differences in inherited characters or inherited traits. So differences, as we have discussed that you resemble your parents in many characters. Some of you are resemble in skin color or hair or any other behavioral character, but at the same time you differ from your parents in many characters also. You are not the 100% of your parents, either mother or father. In many characters, you and your brothers and sisters, you are having differences between them. So those differences in characters, and there is one word is called inherited characters. So these differences in inherited characters in between parents and offspring is nothing but known as the variation. And one thing you remember, both these heredity and variation, these two are two aspects of a particular science or particular study, and that is known as genetics. So this is known as genetics. So what is genetics? Genetics is nothing but the study of heredity and variation. The study of heredity and variation is known as genetics. And this word genetics, it was proposed by Bateson in 1905. And this word genetics, it has been derived from a word known as genesis. This is a Greek word and it means origin or source or sometimes it is known as to become. How you will become, or what will be the appearance of yourself, and that depends upon your heredity and variation. And these variation again are of different types, that may be in the variation of somatic cells or in the variation in the germinal cells. And one thing remember, those variations which occur in germ cells or reproductive cells, these are only inherited, others are not inherited. Clear? And variation may be of discontinuous or continuous type. Continuous means there is a range of characters, and discontinuous means the characters are very much distinct and very much differentiated. So, study of heredity and variation is genetics, and genetics says about the principle of inheritance. Another name of heredity is inheritance. So, genetics says about the inheritance, or it says the mechanism of inheritance, how this inheritance of characters occur from parents to offspring, and how variation are observable in between parents and offspring, that is called the genetics. And many workers or many scientists are there who already worked over these genetic principles, and for the first time who formulated the principle of inheritance, he is known as the Gregor Johann Mendel. Gregor Johann Mendel. And according to him, there are principle of inheritance for which he is known as the father of genetics. Father of genetics. Why he is known as father of genetics? Because he for the first time worked on the genetic principle and formulated certain laws govern the inheritance of characters. And while studying genetics, you must know about Mendel and his life. Mendel was born in 1822 in Czechoslovakia in a very poor family. Later he joined a monastery, that means a church, and to study priesthood. Then again he went to Vienna to study science, further study, and then he came back, again joined the monastery and started his famous experiment on garden pea. On garden pea he started his experiment, and he experimented for 8 years, and after that he published a research article known as Experiments on Hybridization. And this paper he presented before the Brown Natural History Society, and then it was published in the annual proceeding of that society also in the year 1866, and after that in the year 1884 Mendel died. See, in the year 1866 he published the paper Experiments on Hybridization, which was the first work on genetic principle. But at that time it was not recognized by the scientific community of the then society, and Mendel died in 1884 unrecognized and unnoticed by the scientific community. But in the year 1900, that is 16 years after his death, 3 scientists, they are known as Hugo de Vries, Karl Korens and Sermak. Hugo de Vries, Karl Korens and Sermak. These 3 scientists, they rediscover Mendel's work, and what they found, is nothing but just a repetition of Mendel's work, and they found that Mendel's work has universal application on every organism. They are not only applicable to pea plants, all animals, every living organism, that principle is applicable. So, Mendel's principle is applicable universally, it has universal application. After that only, after the rediscovery by these three scientists, Mendel became known as father of genetics. So, as I discussed, Mendel was very unlucky in that sense that he was unnoticed, unrecognized, but at the same time he was very much successful in his experiments. So, we are discussing about Mendel and why Mendel was a success in his experiment. What are the causes of Mendel's success? Mendel was successful because his choice of experimental material, and his experiment design then his mathematical analysis and the logical interpretation these are the main 4 points of Mendel's success. The first one we will discuss one by one. First one is his choice of experimental material. What experimental material were by Mendel? That is nothing but the garden pea, which I have already told you. The experimental material is garden pea, and the scientific name of it is known as Pisum sativum. As a student of botany, you should know the scientific name of plants. So, the Pisum sativum, Mendel's work, and how this Pisum sativum as an experimental material helped or brought Mendel success. So, what are the reasons behind this experimental material choice brought success to Mendel? First up, these pea plants are self pollinating or self fertilizing. These are self pollinating. Why they are self pollinating? Because these are having bisexual flowers. Bisexual flowers, like suppose you must have remembered a flower structure. So, so this is the androecium or stamens. There are 9 plus 1, 10 stamens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stamens are there in the flower. And this is the gynosium. This one is ovary, the stigma. These are the stamens. And the carpels are also there. So, this is the LS of flower, LS of pea flower, which show both the reproductive organs, the male reproductive organ that is known as the stamens, which is having anthers, and the female reproductive organ, ovary, stigma, and all this, or gynosium. That is why it is the bisexual flower. Since they are bisexual flower, they are naturally self-pollinating. So, self-pollination or self-fertilization is there in pea plant, and that helped Mendel to maintain true breeding plant. That helped maintain true breeding plants, true breeding. So, I will explain you what do you mean by true breeding plants. So, to maintain true breeding plants maintain true breeding. This is also called as pure plants, true breeding or pure plants. The self fertilization is very much necessary. So, since pea plants are naturally self fertilizing or self pollinating, that help Mendel to maintain true breeding or pure plant. And another point about this experimental material is they are self pollinating, at the same time cross pollination is possible. Cross pollination or cross fertilization is possible in the pea plants, because for an artificial hybridization experiment you need cross fertilization between different varieties. So, naturally although pea plants are self fertilizing, at the same time cross fertilization is possible in those plants. And another point about this plant is they are of short duration. Short duration means, you know, the pea plants are annual plants and their life cycle completes within one season, and this short duration helped Mendel, and Mendel didn't face any difficulty to see the result of the next generation. So, within a very short period of time he can maintain many generations of pea plant. So, that help him in hybridization experiment. And another point is, the most important point about pea plant is, the pea plants are having very well defined characters. Well defined characters. What is the meaning of well defined? Well defined means the characters are very much distinct. Characters are very much distinct means, suppose one example I will tell, suppose the height of the plant. Many plants are there, they are tall, and many plants are there which are dwarf or small, and there is no intermediate height between them. So, one is tall, another is dwarf. Similarly, suppose flower color. The some flowers are purple and some flowers are white. So, these are the two distinct characters. Similarly, Mendel took actually 7 pairs of contrasting characters. So, Mendel considered 7 pairs of characters. What are those 7 pairs of characters? These are the stem length, then flower position, flower color, then pod color, pod shape, then seed color and seed shape. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. These are known as the characters. And each character is having 2 contrasting traits. Those are known as traits. So, what are the traits of stem length? Stem length is also known as height of the plant. So, the 2 traits are, one is tall, another one is dwarf. Flower position, some are terminal in position and some are axial in position. That means they born in the axis of the plant. So, these are known as axial. Then flower color, as I have already told you, some are having purple flower and some are having white color flower. Pod means fruit of the pea plant. The pod color is yellow and green, Similarly, pod shape may be inflated or constricted. Then seed color, similarly these are yellow and green, and seed shape, they may be round or smooth and wrinkled. So, these 7 pairs of contrasting characters were studied by Mendel, and as you see, these characters are very much well defined, and there is no intermediate characters. They are very much well defined, tall, dwarf, terminal, axial. So, they are in the 2 extreme points, and that also helped Mendel for his experimental success. So, then we will consider or we will discuss about Mendel's experimental design, how Mendel designed his experiment. So, Mendel's experimental design we will discuss. So, Mendel experimental design. So, Mendel studied plants for minimum 3 generations. So, there are minimum 3 steps are there. First of all, the first step of his experiment design is his selection of parents, because for any cross experiment you need parents, selection of parents. The next step is hybridization. Next one is the selfing and generation of F2 plant. Generation of F2. I will discuss what is F1, what is F2 plants. Okay. So, first one is selection of parents. Mendel selected true breeding parents. What are the parents? Parents are true breeding, also known as pure lines. What is the meaning of true breeding? True breeding means when a particular plant is true breeding for a particular character, that means it produces same types of character in subsequent generation. For that, Mendel, what he did, he continuously selfing plant and got those characters. Like suppose he wanted one tall parent, which is true breeding. For that, he continuously selfed a plant and found that in all generations it produces tall plant. That means that particular plant or variety is true breeding or a pure line for the tall character. Similarly, for all these 7 pairs of character, he studied or he maintained the pure line in separate plots. So, first he generated the parents which are true breeding or pure line for a particular character. The next step is hybridization. Hybridization means crossing between 2 different varieties. Again, different varieties means having different characters. And this crossing need many sub steps, like first of all, you see the pea flower, it is bisexual, and but if for hybridization you need cross pollination or cross fertilization. For that you have to remove anther from one flower. If you cut anther from one flower, this flower becomes a female flower. It is no longer a bisexual flower, it becomes a female flower or unisexual flower. So, for that first of all you need to do emasculation. So, what is the meaning of emasculation? Emasculation means removal of anther. The next step is your dusting. Dusting means first you remove anther from this flower, another flower is there which is having anther. From those anther you artificially pollinate the stigma of this flower, and that is known as dusting. Clear? And after dusting you have to cover those cross pollinated flowers, so that it will not contaminate with other anthers from other plants or other flowers. So that is known as bagging. Bagging. Bagging here means cover, to cover those to prevent contamination. And then next one is your, after dusting and bagging, you have to do cross pollination. The cross fertilization occur, and after that your F1 hybrids are produced. The product of cross fertilization between the two varieties is nothing but known as hybrid, and this hybrid represents the first filial generation, that is called F. So F stands for filial. F1 means the first filial generation, that is the hybrid. So after hybridization, selfing is done. Again, what is the meaning of selfing? Selfing means the self fertilization of F1 hybrid. So here they are not allowed to cross pollinate with other variety, but they are allowed to reproduce among themselves, so that is known as selfing. And selfing of F1 gives rise to F2 plants. The next generation of F2 is, F1 is F2 plants. F1 plants, they undergo selfing or self fertilization and gives rise to F2 plants. Mendel also went for F3 plants also. So this was his experimental design, and with this design of experiment he studied the inheritance of a single gene, inheritance of more than one gene, and accordingly there are different types of experiment, cross experiment we will discuss. One is known as monohybrid cross, another we will discuss the dihybrid cross. So what is a monohybrid cross? As you know, mono means one, and here monohybrid cross means a cross between two varieties taking one pair of contrasting characters. One pair of contrasting characters into consideration. This is the exact definition for monohybrid cross. So here one pair of contrasting characters. For example, if you are considering height, then height is having the one pair of character, that is, one is tall, another is dwarf. So that forms a pair of character. The height is the character, and the two tall and dwarf you can call them as traits. So each character is having two traits. When you are making one cross experiment between two varieties taking one pair of contrasting character at a time, then that type of cross is known as monohybrid cross. Mendel did monohybrid cross for each pair of contrasting characters. As you know, he considered 7 pairs of characters. That's why he studied all these 7 pairs of characters separately as monohybrid cross. Because what is Mendel's monohybrid cross? We will see how he did the experiment. One example we will take, that is the height of the plant or the stem length. Suppose we will take the example of stem length. So what he did? He suppose, so as I told you, the first step of the experiment is selection of parents. So Mendel selected 2 parents for stem length. So one is known as tall. The stem length or height character is having 2 traits. One is tall, another is dwarf or small. And both are, remember, both are true breeding or pure. So it is pure tall and it is pure dwarf. So this is the parent generation, parental generation, or the P1. P stands for parent. And this tall and dwarf plant, they produce gametes in their reproductive organ. So, these are the gametes of parents. And when a cross is made between these plant, a zygote or hybrid is produced. That hybrid, so what is the outward expression of this hybrid? It becomes tall. So, this hybrid is tall. What Mendel observed, that the hybrid which is produced in between tall and dwarf, it is also tall. And so, this hybrid represents your F1 generation. And again he went for next generation, that is F2. So, but this F2, it is it undergo selfing. So, here selfing is done. When selfing is done between two hybrid tall plants, so what are the offsprings? You see, the offsprings he found that 3 of them are tall and only 1 is dwarf. That means in a ratio, not exactly 1 or 2, that ratio is 3 tall and 1 dwarf in the F2 generation. Clear? So, there are male gametes and female gametes. So, and a cross between them produces tall and dwarf in F2 generation. Tall 1 dwarf 3:1. So, your parent generation is having tall and dwarf, hybrid is having tall, hybrid is also tall, yes, I have already written. And this F1 generation tall plant, hybrid plant, it undergo selfing. Selfing, produce male and female gamete and produce this plant. But in F2, 2 types of plants are produced. In F1 only 1 type, that is tall, but in F2 2 types, they are known as tall and dwarf. In a particular ratio they are formed. So, that ratio is 3:1, and such type of representation of offsprings in different generation is known as Punnett square. Please remember this. This is known as Punnett square, or also known as checkers board. Checkers board. You can represent the cross experiment by this Punnett square or checkers board. So, in monohybrid cross, Mendel got the 2 characters in a particular ratio, that is called 3:1 ratio, and this is called phenotypic ratio. So, Mendel's monohybrid phenotypic ratio is 3:1, and Mendel assumed that the different characters actually they are determined by certain factors. Exactly the word which was used by Mendel, it was known as element. So, there are elements, element, and later Correns termed them as factors. So, inside the plant cells or any organism cell, the factors are there and they are responsible for a particular character. So, for each character there is a factor, and these factors they occur in pairs, like this pair of contrasting characters, and these factors he represented them in English alphabets. Like suppose for tall plant, for tall he considered the alphabet capital T. Since each factor occur in pairs, so it is capital T and capital T. Similarly, in dwarf plant it becomes small t and small t. Clear? And when a hybrid is formed in F1 generation, the tall plant which is formed in hybrid or F1, so it is having both the factor capital T and small t. Since it is a product of both these parents, So it inherits at least one factor from each parent, so that it contains both the factors, that is capital T and small t. That is why it is called as hybrid. It is not pure, it is hybrid. And this undergoes selfing, that means another plant with same capital T and small t. So what is the gametes produced by them? So gametes always contain one factor. So male gametes with capital T, male gametes with small t. Similarly, female gametes with capital T and female gametes with small t, and they will produce plant. So what will be their factor? So here they were capital T, here capital T, small t, here capital T, small t, here small t, small t. And these three are tall and this single one is dwarf. And you see here tall plant which are produced, these are of two types. With one with capital T, that means one with the same type of factor, another with two different types of factor, although one character is observed, but it contains two different characters. So tall plants are of two types. There are two types of tall plants. One you can call them as homozygous tall with the factor capital T, and another one is called heterozygous tall, that is capital T, small t, and another product you find, that is dwarf. So this in the ratio 1, this into 2 capital T, small t, so 2, and this with 1. So this ratio between these different factors is known as the genotypic ratio. It is 1:2:1. So in monohybrid cross, the genotypic ratio is 1:1:1 and the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. Always remember that, may come in short question. So you have to remember those things. Okay. So now we have already discussed the monohybrid cross. So next we will consider about dihybrid cross. So let us discuss the dihybrid cross, another cross which was done by Mendel. So what is a dihybrid cross? A dihybrid cross is a cross between two varieties taking two pairs of contrasting characters. In monohybrid cross, it is one pair of contrasting characters. In dihybrid cross, it is two pairs of contrasting characters. So for this to discuss, let us take two characters which were considered by Mendel. Suppose one character is the pod, seed collar. Another character is seed shape. The seed color, as you know, it has two colors, one is yellow, another is green, and the seed shape, one is round, another is wrinkled. So these are the two traits of each character, and we will take two parents, or Mendel took two parents which are pure breeding. The parents are, what are the parents? Parents, one parent with yellow and round seeds, another parent with green and wrinkled seeds, and for this, to represent them, for a yellow character it is capital Y, and for round or smoothness it is capital R. Similarly, for green character he represented them small y, and for wrinkled small r. So this is the parent generation, or P1, and when a cross is made between them, so they will produce gametes with YR. Similarly, so this parent will produce gametes with small y, and when a cross is made in between them, the hybrid or F1 which is produced it will have capital Y and capital R, small r, and this is the hybrid. And what is the phenotype of this hybrid? What is phenotype? You know, the external expression of the character. The phenotype, it is yellow and round, which resemble one parent, yellow round. It is obvious because the yellow character is dominant over the green and the round character is dominant over the wrinkle. Just like in monohybrid experiment, we have discussed that the tall character dominant over the dwarf character. Here also, through monohybrid cross experiment, Mendel knew that yellow character is dominant over green and the round character is dominant over wrinkled character. That is why the F1 plants, they were all with yellow and round seeds. And when these F1, they undergo self-fertilization with another plant of yellow and round with such type of genotype. So, these are the gametes produced by this yellow round plant with the gametes with the factors capital Y capital R, capital Y small y capital R and small y small r. And these are the different combinations produced in the offspring, and this is the Punnett square representing the offsprings. And what were the phenotype of these F2 offsprings? So, these are the F2 plants. What are the phenotypes? You see, 4 different types of phenotypes are seen. One is yellow round, one is green wrinkled. These are the parent types, but you see 2 new types are also seen. What are those 2 new types? There are yellow with wrinkled, which combination, that combination was not there in parent, but here it is found. So, yellow with wrinkled, similarly green with round. So, these 2 are known as the new combinations or the recombinants, and these are the parental combinations. This is one parental, this is also one parental, and these are the 2 new combinations. These 2 new combinations are possible because these gametes are randomly fertilized. That is why these types of combination are seen. And what are the ratio of these plants? What he found, Mendel, that this yellow round character seen in 9 plants and yellow wrinkled in 3 plants, yellow round, green round in 3 plants and the green wrinkled in 1 plants. So, 9, 3, 3, 1. That is why the dihybrid phenotype ratio is the 9:3:3:1. Dihybrid phenotypic ratio is 9:3:3:1. Remember this. Clear? You can know the phenotype from this checkerboard like this. Here these are grey, yellow round, this one is also yellow round, the last one is green wrinkled, and the other phenotype you can say from this checkerboard. And what about the genotype or genotypic ratio? Genotypes you will find like some are with capital Y capital R, some are with this type of genotype, and this is also found. You check it from the Punnett square, then capital Y, capital R, smaller. Another is, sorry, yes, then small y, capital R, small y, smaller, and small y, smaller. So, these are different types of genotypes. This will occur in 1 plant, this is in 2, this is again 1, this is 2, this is 4, this is 2, this is again 1, this is 2 and 1. So, altogether 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, it becomes 16. Just like 9 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1 is equal to 16. So, this is called the genotypic ratio of dihybrid cross. So, what is the genotypic ratio of dihybrid cross? Genotypic ratio of dihybrid cross is 1:2:1 2:4:2:1:2:1. It is very simple to remember. You can draw a Punnett square or checkerboard and you can yourself say what is the genotypic ratio. Remember, the phenotypic ratio is 9:3:3:1 and the genotypic ratio is this one. Okay. So, this is all about the dihybrid cross and its results. And on the basis of these experiments, monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross, Mendel formulated certain laws. Actually, first Mendel gave certain generalization, then the laws of inheritance came. So, what were the generalization made by Mendel? Generalization. First of all, the dominance. It is known as the principle of dominance. What is dominance? As we have already discussed in monohybrid cross, there are two plants, capital T with tall and dwarf, capital T small t, and when they produce a hybrid, it becomes with this, and in the next generation it produces capital T, capital T, capital T small t, capital T small t and small t small t. Clear? And this F1, in F1 only one character is seen, that is tall. The other character of the other parent is not observed. Although it contains both the factor, that means it contains factor for tallness and factor for dwarfness, but it shows only the tall character. That means one character is masked or covered. It cannot express in the presence of other factor. So, when one character or one trait dominant over other or masks the expression of other character, it is known as dominance. That is why here you can say tall is the dominant character. So, dominant here is tall, tall is dominant, and dwarf character is recessive. The opposite of dominant is recessive. Tall is dominant, dwarf is recessive. Similarly, we have already seen in this, yellow is dominant, green is recessive, brown is dominant, wrinkled is recessive, like this. So, the principle of dominance. And here also another thing, I have already told you that Mendel assumed that for each character there is a pair of factor. Clear? And this pair, each individual factor is known as an allele, or allelomorph. Allelomorph. Clear? That means this capital T, small t, these are the two alleles or alleloforms. Clear? And another principle is your principle of segregation. Principle of segregation. And another is your principle of independent assertment. These are the three generalizations made by Mendel, and these first two principles, they were merged, and later it became known as the two laws of inheritance. So, what are the two laws of inheritance by Mendel? Two laws of inheritance. These two laws are known as the law of segregation and the law of independent assertment. So, let us first discuss the law of segregation. What does the law say? The law of segregation says that a hybrid between two varieties, contain both the factors which do not blend but remain together and segregate when they segregate at the time of gamete formation. This is what exactly the law says. A variety, there are two varieties which produce a hybrid and they are having different characters, but in hybrid contains both the factors, and these two factors they do not blend but they remain together and they segregate. Segregate means separate at the time of gamete formation. How Mendel came to this conclusion? By analyzing monohybrid cross, you can know this. Remember, this law of segregation has been derived from monohybrid cross and law of independent assortment has been derived from dihybrid cross. So, by analyzing monohybrid cross, you can explain the law of segregation. Clear? But how you analyze? First you analyze the parents. The parents are true breeding always. So, they are having both the factors which are same, just like the capital T and small t. And when they produce a hybrid, it contains both the factors as said by this law. And these factors are segregate or separate. See, due to their separation, you find the dwarf character here, because in F1 you do not find the dwarf character, that is dominance is there, but in F2 since there is separation of gametes, the capital T and small t, they are separated from each other during gamete formation. That is why you find tall and dwarf character again. So, this is known as the separation or segregation of character. Clear? And the next one is the law of independent assortment. Similarly, law of independent assortment, it has been derived from dihybrid cross. By analyzing the dihybrid cross, you know, you can explain the the law of independent assortment. As you know, the P or parental generation, they are pure. We have already discussed pure of yellow and round, pure green and wrinkled. So, they are having same factors. The F1 plant of the hybrid plant contains both the factors for both the characters. That means, it is having factors for yellowness and also green, and factor plus wrinkled and also round. And since during their gamete formation, 4 different types of gametes are found. That means, male gametes with all these genes, factors, and the female gametes with all these type of gametes. So, 4 different type of gametes, and since the characters are independently assorted, that is why you are finding the 2 new combinants. As I have already told you, one is yellow with wrinkled, another is round with green character, which were not present in parental combination. Why this possible? Why this independent assortment is possible, or why these new combinations are possible? Because the inheritance of one character is independent of the other. So, the law of independent assortment says that law of independent assortment what does it say? Just like law of segregation, that the parents differ in 2 or more characters, have both the factors that are inherited that are inherited independently. That means the inheritance of, suppose in this case we have considered seed shape and seed color character. So inheritance of seed color is independent of inheritance of seed shape character. If it was not there, then the two new combinations with green and round and the yellow with wrinkle, these two characters were not parental characters. Since independent assortment were possible, that's why you see these two recombinants. This is the proof of the independent assortment. In another word, you can say that both the characters, they do not inherit as a package. That means they do not inherit together. They are inherited separately. And if you see this checkerboard and analyze it for a particular character, you will count the number of yellow and the number of green, then they will show 3:1 ratio. That means yellow and green with 3:1 ratio. Similarly, round and wrinkled also in 3:1 ratio. So all these characters, they inherit separately. We are considering here two characters together, but they are inherited separately. That's why they are showing individual monohybrid ratio. Clear? So student, this is for today. In the next class, we will discuss about the neo-Mendelism or deviation from Mendelism. Okay? Goodbye.